Ready? Someone said confidence. I see some answers coming in. But okay, so it's others' opinions of you. It's other people's opinions of you. Does it matter? No, not really. Does it physically affect you? No, not at all. Does it mentally affect you? Yes. Should you let it? No. No matter how many times I tell you not to let it affect you, are you going to listen? No. Because it's the human in you. Guys, we all worry about what someone else thinks about us. Anyone who tells you that I don't worry about what anyone thinks ever is not being honest. Is not being honest. Or they're not thinking deep enough about it. Think about it. Why do you wear makeup when you go out in public? Because you think about what other people think about your appearance. Right? Why do we have low self-esteem? Because of what other people's opinions or in the past they have said about us. Right? It didn't come from nowhere. When we're born, when we're a child, we're happy and we care less what we look like or what other people think about us. Think about kids or children when they're in the grocery store. They have no shame. Remember when you were a kid and you went in the grocery store, you didn't have no shoes on, your clothes had holes in them. You just, you'd run in the store looking homeless. You did not care. You didn't care what anyone thought. And, we should think like that. And we should continue to think like that. But something happens as we grow up, as we get older. We start to worry about what other people think about us. But if you look at a lot of people that have grown and risen above and became a success or built enough confidence to do or pursue their passion and do something amazing in their life that they can look back at and say, I did my dream. I achieved my goal that I set out to achieve. One of the number one things is they push aside all the opinions of them. Everything that everyone says, they just keep going forward. Does it hurt? Of course. It always will. That's like saying if I cut you, are you going to stop bleeding? No, that's always going to happen. That's a natural reaction. But how do you react to it? How do you react to other people's opinions? How do you react to it? My response, of course, my initial response is, well, that's kind of hard or harsh or something. If they say something rude, that sucks. But it doesn't convince me that that's what I am. It doesn't convince me that they're right. And most people that go through a success or a battle in their life, they'll tell you that. They'll tell you, who gives a crap what anyone else thinks. If you look at people that are doing what they're doing and their success at it, they don't really care what anyone thinks about them. Gary Vee. How many of you know who that is? Show of hands. Anybody know who Gary Vee is? I'm looking to see if anyone knows. Does no one know who this is? You need to look him up. Look up Gary Vee after. Anyway, he's very successful at what he does, but he's also a speaker, but he has a different way about speaking. He's very foul-mouthed. But he, quite frankly, honestly, and bluntly, does not give a crap what anyone thinks about him. And he'll tell you that. And he says that to people in the audience when they ask questions sometimes. He's like, I give a crap what you think. And that's how you should feel, guys. Because, if you turn around and you look at the person who is judging you or the person who is giving you crap about how you are or how you act, do you honestly believe that they feel that there's not anything wrong with them? Would you feel like they have nothing sad or bad or negative that they think about themselves? Most of the time, that's exactly how they feel about themselves. Sometimes people don't like seeing other people rise up above them, especially if it's an old friend or somebody that you grew up with and, you both grew up, let's say you both grew up in the hood. You know what the hood is? I grew up in the hood. So if you grew up in a hood and all of a sudden life starts changing, you start finishing school, one of you goes off to college, one of you is starting to do better, one of you is, out here doing motivational speaking and all this stuff. And the other one stayed in the roots, stayed in what you both did as children. You were bad kids who were living a bad life and, gang affiliation, all this stuff. And one of them stayed. So of course, when they see you doing this, or they see you making a success, or they see you coming up, they should be happy for you. They should be happy for you. But 99% of the time, that's not, no matter what they say, that's not really how they feel. They feel like they're being left. Like you left them in the past. Because you moved on and moved up. And they are still where you were when y'all used to talk about your dreams together. When you both used to speak about what you were going to do with your futures. And they are still there. So it kind of sucks, it feels like it's almost like leaving and you have 2 kids and you leave and you forget one of them. That's what they feel like. They feel like the kid that was left behind. So of course they're going to be upset, they're going to be hurt. But their opinion of you should not affect you. It only means you're doing something right. People only speak opinions about you. For one, they want you to hear it. They want you to hear it, or else they wouldn't say it. What do you think the comment sections are in the videos you post and all that stuff? That's people clearly wanting you to see. They want everyone to see that this is how they feel, or this is what they think about you. Right? Majority of the time, it is that kid that's left behind. And they're waving and they're saying, hey, look at me, I'm here. And that's what it is. It's attention. And sometimes it makes them feel maybe better about themselves. Maybe in some way it does. How many of you can be honest in here and say maybe you've been that kid in the past? And raise your physical hand. Maybe you've been that person who didn't like seeing somebody else kind of leave. I'm going to raise my hand. How many of you ever felt some form of jealousy? Nobody, huh? Nobody in here. Yeah, I think I do see the ones. Guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. At some point in time, you've all been jealous of someone. You have all been jealous of somebody at some point in time. Or else you wouldn't know what that feeling feels like. Maybe you had a relationship in the past and it was a girl or a female. Or maybe it was an ex and they treated you badly, but then all of a sudden you see that they after things are over, that you maybe scroll across their page on Facebook and you see they're happily married and they got all the kids, and you kind of feel like, well, that sucks. That's not what happened with us. It's normal to feel that way, guys. It's normal to feel that way. And if they are speaking to a third party about you and they're not coming at you directly, how many of you can honestly say that you spoke negative about someone else behind their back? We all have. And unintentionally, you'll do that. Not on purpose, but unintentionally, it's the human in you. You'll sometimes converse with somebody and you'll say something negative about someone else. You'll speak your opinion, the same opinion that does not matter to that person or should not matter to that person, but may matter to them. And even though you're speaking it to them, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're never going to hear it. Obviously, people do go and tell a person, hey, so-and-so said this about you. How many of you had that happen? So, guys, what I'm doing is I'm showing you, just like I showed you last week, you're on both sides of the shoe. You're on both sides. Whether you want to be or not, or you believe you are, or you believe you're not, you are. You have felt every kind of feeling that you could feel. And sometimes when it happens to you, when that opinion is spoke about you, that bad negative opinion, you really remember that. That thing sticks in your mind like a nail in your brain. You don't forget that one. You always see that one. You always remember that one. But for some reason, when it's us on the side of speaking the opinion about somebody, we don't really think about it. It doesn't really stick in our mind because it's not us. It's not us being hurt with words. It's not. Yes, Amanda said she was jealous of a cousin. That's very common. Jealous of how many of you have siblings, or how many of you have siblings? Not even if it's just one. You were never jealous of your brother or sister. How many of you have kids, that more than one kid? How many times does your kid try to show you something cool and the other one jumps in front of them and show you something cooler? All the time, right? See, it's human. It's natural. It's natural. And there's a purpose for it. There's a purpose for every type of emotion that we have, or else it would not have been created. There is a reason and a purpose and a time and a season for everything. But as far as it affecting you mentally, it can, but it doesn't mean that it has to, or you should try to understand. Guys, anytime any feeling or emotion or negativity, or whether it's talking about you, whether it's your past, if it is affecting you, anytime that hurts you, the first thing you need to do, take a deep breath, clear your mind. No reactions, nothing. Don't retaliate, don't respond, don't react. First, clear your mind, take a deep breath and relax and kind of feel where you're at. You know the saying, give yourself 48 hours before you make a drastic decision after something traumatic happens to you, right? I told you guys last week, mine is when I wake up. If I go to sleep, I wake up the next morning, I feel kind of different. Has that happened to anyone? I'm scrolling because I'm looking to see if anyone's like, yeah, me. So I'm sure it's happened to everyone. Again, I'm going to keep speaking, and if you agree or don't agree, I still know. Because you are a person. You are a person. Guys, social media is powerful. It is powerful. Why? Because you can get a message across all platforms worldwide in the matter of an hour. You can spread information fast, extremely fast. And not only that, you can spread opinions fast, and other people will. So when you see videos, when you see comments, when you see those things happening, usually there is a chain reaction. If you've seen the last video, the one I posted with the hate comment, there was a chain reaction. It wasn't in their favor, obviously. There was a lot of upset people that were, even though I said no retaliation, it doesn't mean don't defend yourself, but just don't retaliate. But there was a lot of people that wanted to retaliate. If you've read the comments and you know which video I'm talking about, there was a lot of people, and some did. That's how fast, and that spread pretty quick. If you've seen the comments, last I checked, it was a couple thousand, like 5,000 comments. That's 5,000 people that are spreading information and sharing it and saying, "Oh, this person." How many of you told someone or shared that video? You shared your opinion, what you thought. Did you just share, or did you say something with it? How many of you said something along with sharing it? You shared that opinion, which again is natural, and it can work in both ways. It could be something positive that you do, or it could be something negative. In that case, it was negative. There were a lot of accounts, but that was very weird. If you looked up the account, there was like a huge chain of them, and that makes you think, are they all doing that? It's really random, but it happens. And in social media, you do have to kind of make your skin a little bit tougher, because you are exposed and vulnerable at all times. At all times. Think about it. At any second of this meeting here, are your videos going to not be available? Are they going to not be posted? Are people going to be able to not respond or comment to anything that you posted? No. At all times they will. The only way that they would not, as if they're not up there, or they were taken down, or they can't see them. So that's the hard side of social media. You do have to do that. So knowing that you're doing that, knowing that you're able to be vulnerable and have someone say something negative and try to come after you or try to lower your self-esteem or break your confidence at any given time. Now that you know that, be prepared. Be prepared to react to that. Be prepared to take a deep breath and don't respond. Trust me, everyone said I handled that okay. I wanted to respond differently. And normally I wouldn't respond. I delete those comments. Every day there's comments like that. Every day. And a lot of people say, I never see comments. I have no idea how you had comments like that. Yes, every day. Every day. I just delete and block and delete and block all day. Until I decided, you know what? How is it helping if I'm just deleting, blocking all the time? Because they are going to find someone else who doesn't just delete and block. Or maybe someone else who is in a low point of their life and feeling down, depressed, suicidal thoughts. And they are going to say something just as cruel to that person. And that may be the last thing that person sees before they decide to do that final act. So best to try and get those accounts taken down and banned. Or are they gonna make another one? Most likely. But I guarantee you, through the comment section and them deleting their comment, is maybe 10 minutes after, them trying to take down my video where I responded to the comment, and it was only down for like 5 minutes, and them getting their account banned, I guarantee you they're definitely going to think about it first before they do it again. Because I saw in the comments, so I saw they must have been friends of the person or followers, because they tagged them. If you read through the comments, they tagged the person and they said, "Is this you?" question mark and exclamation points. Like they knew him. Like they knew him. That's exactly because when I clicked, it had the name of the person in their following, and it was said TikTok, when they're banned, and it didn't have their actual information. So, people that knew them saw that they said that and were disappointed in them, were calling them out, were saying, so definitely, could you imagine? Maybe, I don't know, maybe he was under the influence, and maybe he was, just found out some horrible news and decided he's going to post that, and maybe didn't think it was that big of a deal, or I'll never see it. Definitely, he didn't think I was going to respond to it. And maybe he got a bunch of messages, because I did see people saying, I'm messaging him, he didn't respond, all this stuff. And I'm sure that probably put him in a corner. And he's now going to think about it at least. He may make another account. He may do it again. He's not going to do it from that account. And he will think twice about it. And it's handled without retaliation, without me saying, you're a horrible person. I clearly said, you want the attention. Let me know how that goes, because I knew you're not going to like what's going to happen. Basically karma. Let karma deal with people. And sometimes these people, or these kids waving, me, they don't think about the repercussions. They don't think about the consequences of what they're doing. They're in the moment. How many of you have ever lived in the moment